So, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another video here on the Frickflyers YouTube channel. And today, we're going to be doing the continuation of our Mutant series, where we talk about a little bit of my Mutant progression. So, since the last time I made a video about the Mutant, I was training without weights at my home drop zone with my 59. So, it was someone else's canopy I was taking. And shortly after, I went to France for my first French Open, the first competition that I was going to do with a Mutant. I wanted to do speed without the weights, and I wanted to do maybe distance as well. So I arrived in France, and I was previously jumping with 27-inch risers on my 62. When I transitioned onto the 59, I put on 25-inch risers and then 22-inch risers. And I was jumping without the top attachment point. So if you see videos where it looks weird, it's because I'm not using the top attachment point. I have come to the conclusion that it's not really worth it. And yes, it takes a little bit more time but to assemble everything, but I would rather have that and be completely comfortable, because some of the openings, even though they were all fine, I never had any problems, it was one more worry. And it can put you in a very complicated situation if you have a crazy malfunction. So to eliminate a little bit of that, I just removed it. It's also good to get used to doing one thing, and because I jumped a Mutant in free fall, I need the top attachment point, and you start getting used to not having it, and then you have it and you don't have it. One day it's gonna fuck you up for sure. So I got back to using it, but all the videos you're gonna see, I'm not using it. So during France, it was awesome. Even with relatively light wing loading compared to what I normally use in competition, I was doing very good times, and I managed to score 5th in speed, which was ahead of some people with the Mutant and with weights. So I felt really good. I tried to do distance with the Mutant, but I really couldn't. I wasn't managing the touch. The canopy sometimes popped up a little bit because of the light wing loading. And overall, the 59 is a hard canopy to fly. I think the perfect size to learn on the Mutant would be between a 64 and a 62, simply because it's small enough where it's not going to pop up too much, but it's not too small where you need to nail the speed and the recovery arc every time. So what I've been trying to do is flying the 59. What I did was flying the 59 without weights, and I managed to do, pretty decently, I think. Instead of grabbing onto the top of the rear risers, I instead installed little things that I can grab onto, and they do help a lot. But there's something else that even helped more, in my opinion. I did the competition, everything went fine, and I got home, and I reassembled the Mutant with the 25-inch risers, and I put little limiter things above the anti-twist housing, just so that the risers wouldn't spread as much. Because when you're using 27-inch risers, they spread too much and actually change a little bit of the shape of the canopy, which isn't ideal. And I didn't want that to happen. So I put the little limiters on the 27-inch risers and on my 33-inch risers. It changed the way the canopy behaved a lot. Instead of you having to pull on the risers and spread them out or something, you could actually just twist your wrist a little bit, and you were able to control the risers with a much smaller range of motion, meaning that instead of grabbing onto the top of the risers, spreading them or pulling them, and your body actually lifts up a little bit, you can just control it while still leaning back. It makes you a lot more aerodynamic, and also creates a lot of rigidity on the whole system, and it helps with its sensitivity, is my opinion. It is what I felt. So I limit with that little thing above the anti-twist housing, I limited how much they can spread, and I installed actual fabric handles on the risers instead of grabbing onto a piece of tape that I wrapped, and it changed the way I could fly completely, like a lot, very, very much. It was absolutely incredible, the difference. The first swoop I did with no weights back home when I got home from the comp, it was absolutely amazing. I loved it. So I did that with all the other risers that I was using, and I prepared myself to the trip to Eloy, where I was going to do the World Cup and hopefully train for a lot of distance and speed with the weights this time. So I took the weights, went to the comp, and when I started training, Arizona is 2,000 feet elevation, so everything feels a little bit faster there. Not only that it doesn't feel it's not only feeling faster, it's actually faster. And so you know, the way the canopy was behaving was a lot above my pay grade, basically. Like I was doing, after maybe 5 or 6 speed run training rounds, I was doing world record times, like on fly site, and counting with it at the time I was doing 1.9, 1.8 back to back to back to back to back. And you know, I loaded the canopy a lot. It's a small canopy, and I do a good turn. I build a lot of speed, 160 plus kilometers per hour. So there's no chance. There's only fast things happening at those speeds. So it was a little bit faster than I expected. It was manageable after a full day of training speed. It was perfectly manageable for me, and I was confident to fly speed at that type of speeds and with those types of powers. But for distance, I didn't feel comfortable at all. I was coming in at a lot of speed. I had never touched with a Mutant. So what I need to do with distance, and what I thought in America was, let's do distance one more time with the normal harness because it's beautiful and it feels good to lean forwards. And let's train in Dubai with a little bit of a bigger canopy, maybe in my older 62, because it's a little bit older. So it's, you know, not as sensitive because it has some more porosity. And also it's a little bit bigger than the 59, so I find it much more manageable, even at full weight wing loading. So that's the plan. I went to America. When I was in America, I decided to not use the Mutant for distance, and I didn't, and I did very good in distance. I was in 3rd place in the European Championships, and in speed, I got 3rd place as well, and I got 5th in the world. So the 5th fastest canopy pilot in the world in speed was me, which made me really, really, really proud, especially at like 170 jumps with a Mutant. That was it with that. After the competition was finished, I headed back to Florida first, and now my Mutant is actually fixed. There's no more adjustability to it, only the leg straps. So the upper and lower laterals are permanently fixed, and also the MLW has been permanently fixed as well. And I have jumped the system since, and it's all perfect. And I have now made everything permanent so that when I get to Dubai, I get to start training. And the plan is to do distance with the 62 and speed with the 59. Let's see how it goes. I might change my mind. If I do, absolutely no problem. We're still going to do the comp, and hopefully it still goes well. It's sea level, so everything might feel a little bit slower. I think that's been it for now, guys. I haven't installed the tacos yet. If I do, I'll let you guys know. I found like a little packing technique. That's why I haven't. That kind of saves me. So I haven't installed it yet, but I will when I repack my reserve. That's been it for today, guys. If you have any questions or complimentary information, you can add them in the comment section down below. And as always, I will see you next time.